Welcome back. In the earlier lectures, we learned to join a stream with a static data frame. Then we also learned to join two streams. However, both the joins were inner joins. Spark structured streaming also offers you to perform left and right outer joins. But full outer joins are not yet supported. However, you can perform left and right outer joins with some limitations. Let me explain. A stream to static data frame join is allowed with the following conditions. Left outer join is allowed if the left side is a stream. Right outer join is allowed if the right side is a stream. Simple, isn't it? If you want to perform an outer join, keep the stream on the left side and apply the left outer. Simply keep the stream on the right side and you can use the right outer join. Now let's come to the stream to stream joins. You can apply left outer joins if you meet the following two conditions. You are implementing a watermark on the right side stream. And you are implementing maximum time range constraint between the left and the right side events. Similarly, you can apply the right outer join if you meet the following two conditions. You are implementing a watermark on the left side stream. And you are enforcing maximum time range constraint between the left and the right side events. So to simplify it, you have two rules to follow. Implement the watermark. Ideally, you should be implementing a watermark for left and right both, correct? Otherwise, you won't be cleaning all states. So I simply remember it as implementing a watermark is mandatory. That's all. The second rule is the same for left and right both. So you must implement a time range constraint. Let's try to understand it with an example. We will again use the impression and the click event example. Here is my earlier project, but I copied and renamed it. Here is the code for defining the join type. We implemented an inner join. So we will see only those impressions which are clicked. However, our requirement is now changed. We want to see all the impressions. If they are clicked, we would get a matched click event. If they are not clicked, we should still get the impression record, but the click event record will be null. Make sense? How will you do it? We can easily get it implementing a left outer join and keeping the impression event on the left side. The only change is the join type. Done. However, the left join on two streams should also meet the following conditions. The first condition is to implement a watermark. We already have it in place. The impression stream is watermarked for 30 minutes. Similarly, the click event stream is also watermarked for 30 minutes. Now let's look at the second requirement. What does it say? Maximum time range between the left and the right side events. What does it mean? They are asking us to define the maximum delay between the two events. Here is an example. A click event can happen in a maximum of 15 minutes from the impression event. Make sense? So what I'm saying is that an impression is generated first, which can be clicked within 15 minutes. If an impression is not clicked within 15 minutes, we do not consider it a valid click event. How do you set this constraint? Well, this goes in the join condition. Here it is. Click time between impression time and impression time plus 15 minutes. Simple, isn't it? Now let's see how this thing is going to work. Start the Zookeeper. Start the Kafka. Create topics. Start the producers. Great. Let me pre-fill some events. I'm sending two impressions. Both are timed at 10 AM. And also sending two clicks for impression 101. The first one is timed at 10:15. And the second one is timed at 10:16. If I run the application now, what should happen? the impression 101 will join with the click 101 at 10:15. However, the second click, which is timed at 10:16, will not join. Why? Because the impression happened at 10 and the click happened at 10:16. We defined a condition that the click must occur within 15 minutes of the impression. So Spark will ignore this click and will not join it. What happens to impression 102? We do not have a matching record for impression 102. So the impression 102 will not appear in the result. Wait a minute. We are doing a left join, right? So even if the impression 102 does not have a match, it should appear in the result, isn't it? That's correct. It should, and eventually it will. But Spark will not emit impression 102 in this micro batch. Instead, it will keep the impression 102 in the state store and wait for a matching click to arrive. If the click does not arrive within the watermark boundary, Spark will then emit this impression, assuming that it remains unmatched. Until we pass the watermark boundary, we must wait to find a match, right? That's what Spark will also do. Let me run it and see what happens. Good, as expected, isn't it? Now let's do some computation on the watermark. What is the watermark for impression? 10 AM minus 30 minutes equal to 9:30, right? Wait a minute. We also have a time range condition. That's also going to impact the watermark. The time range constraint says that the click can be delayed by 15 minutes from the impression. So the impression should wait for an additional 15 minutes, right? So let me subtract another 15 minutes. The watermark for the impression is now 9:15. Make sense? What is the watermark for click event stream? 10:16 minus 30 minutes equal to 9:46, right? Now let me send one more pair of events. The impression event is timed at 10:40 and the click event is timed at 10:50. Both of these are for impression ID 103, so they will match and appear in the result. Here it is. Now, what is the watermark? Impression watermark is 10:40 minus 45 minutes equal to 9:55. And the click watermark is 10:50 minus 30 minutes equal to 10:20, right? Do we have anything to clean up? Well, the impression 101 and 102 are still not outside the impression watermark. However, both the clicks are outside the click watermark, right? So Spark will clean up these guys. Now let me send another pair. An impression 104 for 10:46 and a click 104 for 11. What do you expect? They will pair and show up in the result. Here it is. What is the watermark? The impression watermark is 10:46 minus 45 minutes equal to 10:01. And the click event watermark is 11:30 minus 30 minutes equal to 10:30. Do we have anything to clean up? Impression 101 and 102 are now outside the watermark. So these two guys should be cleaned. The 101 impression was already matched with the click 101 and it was already sent in the output earlier. We were keeping it in the state store to see if another click for 101 arrives and we could make a one-to-many join. But nothing came. So we didn't send any further output for 101. Now it is expired and we can clean it, right? So 101 goes away. What about 102? This guy is also expired and it should be cleaned. However, the 102 impression was never sent in the output because it was not matched with any click. Now it expired and should be cleaned. However, we cannot clean it because we are doing a left outer join. The impression 102 must go to the output at least once. It was not matched with any click. So now it should go out with some nulls on the right side. Make sense? But before cleaning, Spark already sent the output for this micro batch. Hence, this record is marked to go to output and also get cleaned. The current micro batch is already over. So the 102 will go in the next micro batch output. Here it is. I haven't sent any new input, but Spark triggered the next micro batch even if there were no inputs. Why? Because we already have something to do for the next micro batch. If I had some more inputs for this micro batch, this record would have come with the micro batch's output. But since I had no inputs, this guy came alone. Great, that's all. You learned how to implement left outer join on two streams. I also showed you how the left outer join works and how it impacts the watermark, right? Let me quickly summarize. Spark allows you to implement left and right outer joins on two streams. However, you must implement a watermark and time range condition. These two are mandatory requirements for Spark to implement an outer join. The watermark calculation for outer join also considers the time range condition. I showed you that, right? One last thing. Unmatched records will arrive late because they will be waiting for the watermark boundary to expire. The unmatched record is further delayed by one additional micro batch and only appears in the next micro batch because Spark computes the watermark after sending it. So, the unmatched records are sent only in the next batch after the watermark expires. That's all. See you again. Keep learning and keep growing.